Again, in the Clever app on your laptops, when you scroll down to the school applications, there you'll find Noodle Tools. When it comes to time to draft a works cited or references page that lets your teacher know all of the resources you dove into to conduct your research, this is an invaluable tool that will help you identify which information you need to include, format your sources, and import a draft into a Word document for you. On the Destiny app in Clever or through the Tehippity website that can be found with the Google search on a quick Google search, you can also find the resources we have for you through the library homepage. The databases at the top left have a ton of sources, including reference entries, articles, periodicals, and much more, just like those available in Clever that I showed you a second ago. For example, ABDO books, right here, is a great way to find nonfiction ebooks. The copyright and fair use resources are there to make sure you aren't using anyone's intellectual property without their permission or plagiarizing. 3 of the 4 resources listed in the language arts section on the right are also to help you write the works cited or reference pages for your research projects. They are also listed under bibliography resources further down the column right here. Additionally, there are tons of other educational tools you can access. It may seem overwhelming to you now, but I will be in your classrooms teaching you how to use some of them, and you can always stop into the library and we will gladly help you find what you need. That concludes the info in this presentation about the resources and what they have available for you to access, whatever your needs. Stay tuned for what other parts of the library have in store for you.